CELG is the chart of the day today. And I wanted to go over this one because I wanted to show you what happens with different like news pieces or things of that nature that affect a chart. In this case, it's going to be analyst downgrades is one of them. So I went back and looked what was happening on these gaps. And on the first one, it was right around October 5th, and it had 2 analyst downgrades. Sometimes analysts can make or break a stock because Wall Street and all the investors really tune into that. So on here, that's what happened. So they had a couple of downgrades. And so what happened was they ended up kind of in this channel here. And so you kind of just sit tight and this is where you have to really know that you're trading smart. So if you bought an option, so say you bought at the end of September and you bought a call option, you would have wanted to first probably do a December or January call. And once it gapped down and kind of got stuck in this channel, well, first, once it gapped down, I would want to know why. And so I would probably look up the downgrades. And if it was a downgrade, then I would probably abandon this trade. There might be a loss, but you just don't want to mess around with that kind of thing. So then, here where it gapped down again, I would check the news and find that around October 20th, it announced that they were halting their Crohn's disease trials, their trial drug. And so then that really gapped it down and again kind of got stuck in this little channel here. But then it gapped down again. And this was an earnings thing. So they had their earnings, which I don't know if they were good or bad, but I do know that they cut their guidance. So they cut their own guidance. So that was their own news. And so then that just made the stock go way down. Now, it could come back and fill up these gaps. Because you can see here it's starting to kind of have a little bit of an uptrending channel starting, and it could eventually fill in these gaps. But I know that if it gapped down and got stuck in a channel, I would probably abandon my trade at that point. With the gap down again, I would most likely for sure be out. I shouldn't say most likely, I would for sure be out. So you need to watch, you need to check the news on the stock that you're in. You need to make sure that everything is still kosher, still looking good. And if you run into a snag, you should never be too proud to say, you know what, I don't think this is going to work out. I'm going to cut my loss and I'm going to move on to something else. You have other charts, you have other trades that you could be making instead of putting all of your hope into a chart that could be failing. So you never trade on emotion or hope or anything like that. If the chart says get out, you got to get out. Normally I would go over the Dow, but I do not want to take up any more of your time. It was a modest gain on the Dow, but I want you to pay attention to these kind of charts and know when it's time to call it quits on a trade and move on to something else. So anyway, if you like what you see, go to www.simplytradetoday.com, get your free stocks list and see what I'm looking at, and we will see you tomorrow.